Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday, which means it is Advanced Markets Training Day. And this morning, we are glad to have you guys on. Pat Schmidt is with us, and Pat is going to go over more of the process of how to look for annuities and enroll people in annuities. And to show how little I know, it's going to be the shortest introduction in history. Ladies and gentlemen, Pat Schmidt.
Well, I was anticipating kind of be a little sluggish crowd today, just off the just using my daughter going back to school for the first time as an example this morning, getting her going, and was a fight. I was like, man, I got a feeling it might be like this for just not just kiddos, but for adults, whether it was teachers or us in the professional world. So I want to try to give you a little bit of spark, a little bit of enthusiasm today, specifically as it relates to annuities, and start to kind of paint a picture for how this can really become a fruitful part of your overall insurance business. And we really want to arm you in the first part of this year, especially with all the tools, with all the resources, letting you know you have the people and the team behind the scene to help and truly champion this for you. So without further ado, I want to kind of do a little screenshot take over here if I can. I believe I have the controls. Looks like I do, right, Dallas?
Yes, sir. You should be able to. Yes, sir.
Let's try that now. There we go. So let's get rolling here. So today is about healthy habits for an explosive 2023. So hopefully that's showing up on your all screen. Dallas, give me a thumbs up if you see it all right. Beautiful. So, really, and kind of talking about this just in the start of our conversation here as people are climbing on, was really about mindset. All things that we're doing, whether it's physical health and mental health, is all about improving our mindset. Obviously, there's a lot that we know about what we eat and how we exercise, and I'm not doing some of the crazy stuff that you all might be doing, but trying to make sure that I'm exercising a number of days a week is important to me. But I think that what I sometimes struggle with and can get away with is putting the right things in my ears, putting the right things in front of my eyes. So creating the good habits for me from a mental health. I'm going to expand on that a little bit more today. But the part that I really want, about a year ago, which is spend versus invest, and how we use those two words, I believe, improperly. So for example, spend, we often say we spend time, we spend money, we spend our energy. How do we spend the holidays? How much should we spend on dinner with a friend the other night? And how we should be utilizing this is invest. And when you think about how you invest your time, how you invest your money and the financial resources that you've been blessed with, how you invest your energy, truly changes the mindset and creates a positive awareness about how you're going to go about each minute, how you're going to go about your hour, how you're going to go about your day, your weeks, your year, and the success comes a part of that. So I want to spend some time talking on that as it leads us into the retirement division that we have here and the annuity division that we have to prepare you for your business. So let's spend some time, and I just want to give you some examples for me personally where I've been in your shoes and how I've been investing time and investing money and energy that's helped catapult me in the landscape of annuity. So I think a lot of it for me personally starts with how I invest and go about my day. So how I manage my day, how I manage my calendar. My calendar, if I showed it to you, would probably drive some of you bonkers. I am meticulous in terms of how I am organized. And I have to do that personally for me, because what is important for me is there's working on the business and there's working in the business. And if I mix those, I can find myself all over the place and knocking out meaningless tasks and not taking on those big to-dos, those big tasks, moving the boulders, moving the rocks forward for the business. So I chunk out my day. So for example, I don't just leave my email up all the time. I have blocks throughout my day where I'm looking at various communication channels. I have blocks my day where I'm specifically focused on hunting and prospecting activities. I have parts of my day that you'd see that I'm dedicated to working on certain parts of business functions and how to scale and so forth. And all that is created and built for me, knowing the times of the day that I'm most active or that I'm at my best. So I'm at my best typically in the morning. So I'm going to put my most meaningful activities in the morning when I'm just at my second cup of coffee. And then some of the email, some of the meaningless, but some of the second or third tier type of activities, I'm going to put those maybe like later in the afternoon for me to work on some of those things. And you may go about your day a little bit different. Some of that just comes down to knowing you and how you go about and how you're going to invest your day. But I would encourage you to map out when I started really truly map out my week, my day. I'm not telling you I can't move things around. I absolutely can, but I need to have a vision for my day of what that's going to look like. And then what I started to feel is, man, at the end of the day, I felt really good about what I was going to accomplish. My worst days were the days where I had a blank day and I used to think I'd come, oh man, this is a day where I can get all these things done. And then all of a sudden 6:30, 7 o'clock rolls around and I'm like, what in the world what did I do today? What did I get accomplished? What did I work on today? My best days are the days where I have layered out how I'm going to spend my days. And hey, here are the big 3 things that I want to accomplish today. Here's what I want to walk away with so I can feel like it's a win. And for me too, how I start my morning is a big part of that. I'm very routine driven. So, and my faith is important to me. So spending time in prayer and meditation, spending time in the word and doing those things before exercise. And I don't exercise every day, but I exercise multiple days a week, but doing those things to just restart my day, recenter, get me focused on the right things or things that are important to me. And I'm at my best when I'm staying in my lanes and staying in those routines. And then how I invest time with people is incredibly important to me. It's one of the reasons that I'm here. It's the leadership team that you all have started to know and getting familiar with. I want to invest my time with people who are going to challenge me. I want to invest my time with people who are good compliments to me. I want to invest with my time with people who are going to continue to help me grow and develop and help me be the best that I can be. And I know that's important to you all because you all are with this company because of the people, the collaboration. Kind of leads me to the next point is how we invest our money, right? We want to be able to invest our money with tools and support and resources that are going to allow us to continue to grow our business. And I don't need to spend a ton of time on this because I know that you all recognize this. Otherwise, you'd be with somebody else out there who has maybe an upline or business that really didn't care about you. So you're with somebody who truly cares about you, wants to see you develop, wants to see you thrive and leave a legacy for yourself and your family. But what I want to spend some time on today, and I'm going to introduce some concepts, but just know this, I'm going to drill down on these further in our weeks to come. So you're going to want to make sure that you hit these upcoming weeks. But how we invest our energy is where I'm going to spend a little bit of time here. So one of the things that helped me thrive on the annuity side, and I don't mean to say this braggingly, but so you know where I've come from, because I've been at the zero. My last year as a producer, I did 25 million of annuity business, and a lot of those came from various different funnels. Almost 8.5 million of that just came through hunting and organic activities, not through TV or radio, not through dinner seminars, but through organic, boots on the ground, client referrals, influencers making introductions to me. And that started to really change for me when I created what I called a short-term 25 list. And so what I did is I went through all the people that I could think of first, and I just jotted them all on a list. I even went through my phone, like, who are 25 potential annuity clients? Who are 25 potential retirement clients? And then I started to zero that down to, all right, what are my top 25? If I had 35, it's too many. I want to have 25. I'm going to create a secondary list, come back to it at a later date. I'm going to start with a short-term 25 list. And the second thing that I created was a list of just potential ambassadors and influencers, people who want to see me do well. And you're going to have a list of, maybe it's an aunt, maybe it's an uncle, maybe it's a parent, a grandparent, family friend, a friend of yours, somebody who wants to see you have success. Create that list so you can manage that too. Again, I'm going to spend more time on this and what these conversations would look like. But then from there, I dedicated so many touches per week to my short-term 25 list and my ambassadors and influencers. Now, what I mean by touches per week, I mean getting coffee. I mean, whether it's a lunch or happy hour or a social setting of some sort, taking somebody playing. I wanted to have so many touches per week. Now, I was at a place where I had a lot of other activities. I was a business owner, but my goal 2 years ago was 10 touches per week. Or for the year, I wanted to have 500 touches to either my short-term 25 or my ambassadors and influencers. And these are in-person touches that I'm trying to have each and every week, where I want to let them know. And again, I'll get into some of the messaging in his weeks to come, but I want them to know all that I'm doing. I want them to know, like, hey, here's the suite of services that I have. I now have a retirement team. Let me tell you about the new partnership that I have with our retirement division and some of the things that they can do to come alongside me to be able to help. And now I'm having those conversations with ambassadors and influencers and letting them know, if you could think of somebody that I could help, I love to get an introduction to them. And often I would actually talk to the short-term 25 list the same way. I would treat them like an ambassador and influencer. Hey, I want to tell you about what I'm doing now, tell you about some of the new service offerings that my business has. And I would tell them, hey, if there's somebody you can think of, and they would innately be like, well, man, this sounds like something that me and my wife need to consider for our own retirement. I love the opportunity to do a complimentary review to see if there's some areas where you could be able to help. The other thing that I'm going to spend time talking about in the weeks ahead are what's called, or what I call, push points and master push points. So what I would then set up, and I would have these set up months, if not a quarter in advance, are places that I would be trying to drive the short-term 25 lists or ambassadors and influencers to, so they can learn more about me. So a push point, for example, I would have what's called a lunch and learn. So I would rent a room at a local library or somewhere where I could be able to present to, say, 25, 30 people, bring in maybe some subs, some chips, some drinks, maybe cost me $100-200 to be able to do that. And I would just do a short little presentation on something that was very important to retirees, talk about how an annuity works, talk about tax issues, talk about investment costs, a variety of different topics, all things that we're going to be building out and having for you, or that you can also call in our retirement team to be able to present to. So I would have those. I'd have things like social hours or coffee hours where I invite smaller groups to. And so as I'm having these conversations with my short-term 25 and ambassadors, I'm having these one-on-one conversations, I could then send them an invite. Hey, if you want to learn more about what our retirement team does, I'd encourage you to come out to next Thursday's lunch and learn here at the local library. We're going to start at noon. Hey, listen, there's no cost, there's no obligation to become a client. I just want you to hear about all the things that our retirement team can help with and can focus on. And the other thing that we would have, or that I set up too, was called a master push point. Now, a master push point would be more of like a true retirement dinner seminar. This is going to be something that I would do in the evening, say like at 6 or 6:30 at a local, nice restaurant. Typically, sometimes a steakhouse. Doesn't always have to be that elaborate. But I'm going to do something there. And again, I can continue to keep driving organic traffic to those. And then I would bring in sometimes outside speakers. Obviously, I could present and talk to various things, but I have a CPA that I trusted that could be able to talk to certain tax issues. But I would continue to invest my energy in that short-term 25 list. Now, I got to the point where you say, hey, you know what, that person is not a fit. Let me take that person off the list and let me go to my extra list and let me put somebody on here. Or if I'm having conversations with somebody, influencer ambassador, like, hey, you need to talk to Rex. He's getting ready to retire. Well, Rex is going to go on my short-term 25. I'm going to set some follow-up in places where I can get an introduction to that guy Rex who's getting ready to retire. So being very intentional, being very purposeful for how I invest my time, my money, but how I invest my energy. And again, I'm going to unpack these more in the weeks to come, but I want to just provide just a kind of introduction to some of these concepts, so you start to kind of see the path. You need to know though, and hopefully you're saying that as Impact Legacy Retirement Division, we're putting our money where our mouth is in terms of what we're doing, right? We're not just spending, we are investing. We're investing our time, we're investing our energy, we're investing our money in you. And in this division, as we believe they can absolutely not just catapult you, but can provide some much needed assistance and tools and resources to the clients and the families that in your community. Where we're going to be able to unpack a lot of these conversations as we talk to retirement, as we talk to annuities being a fix, is on this one gigantic concept, which is retirees' fear. And they have a fear of running out of money. They don't, and the issues with people running out of money are pretty simple. They don't have a clear income plan. The stock market going backwards. Uncle Sam, the taxes coming their way, high investment fees or costs, not having a plan for long-term care. Our retirement team, your retirement team, and the annuities that come alongside our service offering is going to be a huge part of making sure that people don't run out of money in retirement. And you'll continue to hear us talk about the wide range of scope of services. So no longer are we just offering just a product, or no longer are we just offering a fixed index annuity. A fixed index annuity is going to be just one of the tools in your toolbox to help these families, to help these people that be prepared and have a lasting and confident retirement. So where I want to wrap up is as you invest your time, you invest your money, you invest your energy into this part of your business, I believe that with the right habits, that you can create over $100,000 of income for 2023. And let me show you how. Right. So there's two different paths. If you've been with us in for a month or so now, you've heard about these, but let me continue to expand on them. So you have Empower and you have Elevate. Right. So let me walk you through the path of how you can become a six-figure earner on the annuity part of your business. So the Empower path is where you direct the sales process. You still have us, you still have your retirement team behind the scenes doing consultative and arming you with things like illustrations and solutions. We're a resource behind the scenes, but you're going to lead the entire meeting process from start to finish. If you have one closing per month and your average case size is $60,000, taking the average street compensation, you're going to add $43,200 to your income for 2023. And that's just one closing per month. And that's an average case size of $60,000. We're trending higher than that, just so you know, for average case size, but I'm a conservative, so I like a little bit of modest numbers. But then you have the Elevate path. And you notice I'm using the word your here because this is your retirement team. This is when you elevate a case or you send a case to the retirement team. And now we are running point. We are now directing the entire sales process. One closing per month using the Elevate option. And remember, you don't have to do both. Some cases are going to be, hey, this is one I can handle. You're going to look at some cases like this one is more specific to maybe go on the Elevate. This one maybe feels a little bit beyond my comfort level with where I am in my career. Here's what I'm going to tell you, and I've seen this throughout my time, is that the average case size when you elevate it to the retirement team, it's going to be significantly higher. We're going to be able to have conversations about more assets. We're going to have more conversations being a fiduciary to looking at more comprehensive. And as we talk about some of these bigger types of strategies and these bigger needs, the average case size of just the annuity premium, I'm just talking about what that is going into the fixed index annuity here, is going to increase. Typically, I've been above 200,000 for my average annuity case size, but I'm going to use 160 for this, just showing you an example. That means you're using the Elevate path, your 2023 annual income off of the Elevate path is going to be $57,600. Not only is it a good investment to your time, your energy, and your business to utilize our retirement team, but you get to sit alongside us as we lead these meetings. So you get to hear the questions, you get to develop, you get to be a part of the analysis and the planning and the presentation of those. So now you can be able to catapult and be able to lead and take on more meetings on your own in time. And that's really the trajectory of where we want to take you and take your business. Some people have asked, I want to make sure I have it here. How do we submit? So if you haven't seen this before, our goal or the retirement team or advanced markets is to try to make this incredibly easy for you. This is the link here. We'll make sure that we put this out in Slack again. But if you haven't seen this yet, that's showing up on your screen. I saw Josh. Josh, give me a thumbs up, buddy, if that's showing up for you. You see the form?
Yes.
Perfect. So if you haven't seen this before, this is how you submit a case, whether you're going to take the Empower path or the Elevate path. You have the option here to actual on-site be able, like, let's say you're with the prospect, you can schedule the time of when that consultation will actually be. You have the opportunity.
At the form itself is not showing up, but the link is there.
Ah. Let me try.
There you go.
How about now?
Yeah,
perfect. Thank you. So here's where that link will take you to. So here's the online submission form that allow you to bring in your retirement team. Then you have the option to be able to click schedule your consultation. That'll take you right to the availability of the time of your retirement advisor to be able to take that appointment. You can choose Empower or Elevate. By the way, you can click that little link underneath of there, and that'll give you a reminder of which is which. But also know that this isn't final. If you choose Empower here, and as you get into the discussion with the retirement team about the case, you say, oh man, maybe this is one I want you to run with, that's fine. We're going to collaborate and have that conversation. You may put Elevate. We maybe say, hey, we feel like we can arm you with the tools and resources, but we feel this one's going to be best for you to direct the entire sales process. But you can see it allows you to put in all the information about your prospective client as you get to their retirement concerns. Here are those big concerns that people have: losing too much money in the stock market, paying too much in fees, not having a long-term care plan. So these are all areas that you can identify, and you can identify multiple of these. That helps our retirement team know the why of your prospect. But I also believe that as you start to know these verbatim, this is going to help guide your conversations, and these will very much be conversation starters that you're having. Again, we'll be focusing on some of the wording of those things in the weeks to come. It also, if you have a statement, allows you to truly upload statements that are down here. This automatically goes to our team, and our team, as soon as possible, will then be in contact with you and then start to cultivate what that plan will look like in the future. So I wanted to make sure that I just walk you through. So I know some of you may be seeing that for the very first time. We will be dedicating and spending more time on that in the days ahead. So let me take a breath. I always want to try to stop as close to 10:30 as possible and make sure that just allowing time for questions. where just so you know, as you may have questions related to like the push points and the master push points and the short-term 25 list, those are all things that I do plan to talk about in specific detail and help you start to craft who that list is. But what more importantly, what's that messaging? How do I start to talk about annuities? How do I start to talk about the retirement team? How do I start to arm them with ways, or how do not arm, but how do I start to illuminate myself as the agent, as somebody who can be able to help this prospect? I'm going to pause. Feel free to fire away with some questions, gang.
So Pat, I had a question, and I've been in and out, so I apologize if you already answered this. You mentioned something about keeping, your personal finances in order and then looking at some of that. How much does that play into your sales process? Like in life insurance, I always pull out my life insurance policy and say, hey, this is mine. Are you talking about how you invest when you're sitting down talking to a client?
You know what? I do. I actually own a fixed index annuity. It's a smaller one. When I did the training a few weeks ago, and pre-Christmas back in Louisville, I had somebody actually ask me that. I do. I own a fixed index annuity. It's a safe part of my plan. Now, I'm 40, almost 44. So I got a little ways to retirement. So I have more money on the risk bucket than I do in the market safe bucket. But as I get closer to retirement, I will absolutely. I mean, that's how much I believe in the fixed index annuity as a safe place to grow money, where I don't have to worry about the market blasting that part of what I have. And for those who may or may not track the market, the market was down almost 20%, around 18% last year. But to give you some context to that, that's only half of what the market lost in 2008. So people, their feathers were ruffled last year. But to give us some perspective, it was twice as bad in 2008. And it wasn't just a 12-month period and all of a sudden things were good again. That was a 2007 into 2009. That was an 18-month downturn. And I'm sharing that with you because people need you, they need me, they need to be out there telling a story, letting people know that there are alternatives to just having their money in the market and seeing it go backwards. That was a long-winded answer to your question, but hopefully that got you, Dallas.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was good. Anybody else? Any other questions?
I just want to say this has been great so far. I think something that was underrated that you said, Pat, was the time management. I find that, sure, my skills can be as sharp as possible, but if I'm not effectively managing my time, I think that's something I struggled with. I've only been in the industry for 2 years now, doing life primarily, and now moving into health. I felt that things were running a lot smoother when there was time blocking involved. I could hyper focus in one area and move on to the next, feel a sense of accomplishment. So I appreciate you hitting on that and emphasizing its importance.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. And it's what I think we all find ourselves doing is, if we don't map out our day, is we end up doing the things we enjoy most. But sometimes the things we enjoy most aren't necessarily what's the best for my day, the best for the business, the best for my personal growth. I'm just going to do sometimes what feels a little bit easier as opposed to a challenging phone call, dedicating those times to those tougher tasks to really move the ball forward. Thanks, Zach. Other questions?
I have one. So this will show you how much I know about annuities. So can you make lower reasonable monthly payments toward a fixed index annuity, or does it always have to be a larger lump savings rolled over from a money market account or other accounts?
That's a wonderful question, Laura. It can be both. They're similar to life insurance, where you have single premium life insurance policies. You have flexible premium life insurance. You also have flexible premium annuities, fixed index annuities as well, where you can put in whether it's monthly or annual contributions to be able to grow your money over there, in similar fashion how somebody might invest into a retirement account during their working years. So there's annuities that give you the flexibility to do the same thing in terms of how you put money in. So wonderful question.
Thanks.
Quick question. As we submit the form for either the Elevate or the Empower, I work a lot with mainly teacher retirings. And so would you need the TRS 580 for that, where it shows their partial lump sum?
You know, when I married a teacher, and my mom is a retired teacher, so very familiar. I'm in Ohio, so the Ohio STRS, but I know a lot of those state teacher retirement systems are relatively similar in terms of, you know, there's nuances and so forth, but yeah, those are extremely helpful. And you may not have some of the statements and those things on hand as you're filling out this form. You always have the ability to be able to go back and upload those at a later date. But yeah, that great question. But yeah, those are extremely helpful for us. Sometimes, given the state forms are not exactly real clear on how much they can take out as a lump sum. In Ohio, they have what's called a plop, where they can take a partial lump sum out, and we can take that to a fixed index annuity, and there's a remainder that stays in there that still pays their monthly pension, and they retain their health care.
Correct. Yes, in Texas, it's very similar to that. So normally when they send their TRS 580 form, it's the last form and it gives you the total amount that is going to be withdrawn. So I'm assuming that I could submit that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just, and if it sounds like it's probably just by that last page, maybe all that we need. I know sometimes those packets can be relatively thick. But yeah, that sounds like that'd be helpful. Ohio's form is not near as clean and neat, so maybe they'll develop or take on Texas's forms.
Okay, great. Well, I have a couple of cases on right now, so I'll submit that today as soon as I can.
Wonderful. Look forward to helping. All right, everybody. Well, I sincerely appreciate it. I hope your 2023 is off to a fantastic start. And I'll turn this back over to Dallas with his parting words, probably something about the Cowboys or.
No, we don't talk about that. It's like, you know, if you say it too much, it'll go away. So no, but thank you, Pat. Great job today. I appreciate that. Brian, Roger, anything you guys have to add? You're muted, Brian.
How many times we do this and we still start talking before we unmute, right?
I do it every time
I do it. So
It's like, so, I mean, I can't, there should be an auto mute, unmute thing going on. Like someone needs to invent Zoom with that feature, and I think everyone would love it.
And I say something brilliant every time.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the 2023 year. Excited with Pat leading the annuity charge, and we're going to build out a complete platform. It's going to be tremendous support. We've got, you know, all the carriers, the products, everything that a person needs to be, the training, the seminars, whatever they want to need, they need. All the complete platform is there for them to excel at any level they want to excel at. And I really got a feeling, Pat, in, you know, just a couple of years, we're going to have, you know, $100 million producers. I really do. People that are producing over 100 million a year. So I'm excited about it. Very excited.
Thank you guys for being here. I love how you're investing in yourselves to learn more so that you can benefit your clients more. So ultimately, that's what it's all about, you know, and once we get to impact someone else's life, and in turn benefits our lives. So no better profession than that. So with that, thank you, Pat.
My pleasure.
All right.
Super excited for 2023. Thanks, everybody.
You guys have a great week. We'll see you soon.